Okay, it's now 6:02. I'll go ahead and call the fiscal court meeting to order. If everyone could stand, and Magistrate Codon will lead us in invocation and continue to stand for the pledge.
Thank you, Father, for giving us this time to come here. Please give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make important decisions for the county. Keep everyone safe in their travels back and forth, and bless this meeting. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Jenna, if you can call roll.
Magistrate Humphrey.
Present.
Magistrate Coldarn.
Present.
Magistrate Riley.
Present.
Judge Chuck Dills.
Present. Here's everyone's here. We'll go ahead and move down to item 5, approval of the special meeting minutes of October 3rd, 2025.
Having read the special meeting minutes of October the 3rd, 2025, I make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Codon, second by Magistrate Humphrey. All in favor saying aye.
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 Here's all in favor, motion carries. We'll move on down to 6A under fiscal matters for approval of the claims on the general fund, road fund, jail fund, along with all transfers presented dated October 21st, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the claims on the general fund, road fund, and jail fund, along with the transfers presented today's date, October 21st, 2025.
I second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, a second by Magistrate Codon. All in favor saying aye.
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 Here's all in favor, motion carries. Moving down to item B, we have the Grant County Sheriff's surplus. See attachment A, you see 2 vehicles on it. One of the vehicles were transferred over to the jail for use for transport, and the other vehicle will be sold this Saturday at our surplus auction at 10 a.m. at the Grant County Road Department. So I need a motion to declare that surplus.
I make a motion to declare the Grant County Sheriff's Office surplus on attachment B as presented.
I will second.
A motion made by Magistrate Codon, second by Magistrate Riley. All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor, motion carries. Then we have item C, Grant County Courthouse surplus. You'll see a box, salt box spreader that's no longer been in use. It goes in a John Deere Gator. If I can get a motion to declare it surplus, and it will be sold at the auction this Saturday.
I make a motion to approve the Grant County Courthouse surplus per attachment B as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made by Magistrate Codon, second by Magistrate Humphrey. All in favor saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor, motion carries. Moving down to item D, I have for court's approval the finding of facts of Kiefer Lawrenceville Road Bridge replacement pursuant to KRS 67.080 and KRS 67.0802. And I'll read these findings of facts for this to meet all statutory requirements. In compliance with KRS 67.080 and KRS 67.0802, Grant County Fiscal Court, at its regular scheduled meeting on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, discussed the possibilities of the Fiscal Court acquiring real property lying on Kiefer Lawrenceville Road, Corinth, Kentucky, and more fully described by legal description attached hereto. The meeting was properly noticed, and after providing opportunity for all interested parties to be heard, the Grant County Fiscal Court hereby makes the following findings of facts. Number 1, the Fiscal Court is tasked with the construction, repair, and maintenance of county roads and bridges. 2, the bridge, which is currently spans on Musselman Creek on Kiefer Lawrenceville Road, Corinth, Kentucky, is in need of repair or replacement, which is going to be replacement. 3, in order to properly and safely replace the bridge, the Grant County Fiscal Court needs to acquire private property owned by Darren and Anna Collins. 4, the acquisition of said real property will be facilitated by conveyance of real property currently owned by the Fiscal Court. 5, both properties have been appraised by an independent appraiser. 6, the real property conveyed is valued slightly less than the real property obtained. The real property conveyed is of no use and real value to the Fiscal Court or the residents of Grant County, Kentucky. Number 8, the consideration given by the acquisition is not more than the highest appraised value and is under $40,000. Number 9, the acquisition of the real property and the conveyance of the property currently owned by the Fiscal Court are in the best interests of the Grant County Fiscal Court, Grant County, Kentucky, and the residents there too. So briefly, what that's saying is we're trading a right-of-way, which is a low-water bridge on Kiefer-Lawrenceville Road that is basically 30-foot right-of-way, approximately 100 and some feet long, appraised value at $1,000 for right-of-way to the left of it, which will make it easier and simpler and safer to build a taller bridge that will be a metal graded bridge. Beside it, the Collinses, the appraisal on that property was $1,500, which is $500 greater than our value. They are kind enough to trade us the land, which will give us about 40-some foot of right-of-way instead of 30 for this new bridge, so that the school buses and all that, and probably eliminate a lot of our flooding problems in that low area. So I just want to thank the Collinses for the willingness for trading this land with us. The value, it's not just the value, but the land that we're trading for is basically the creek bottom for another creek bottom with another 10 foot of right-of-way, and actually just a little bit more length of the road so that we can run the bridge. I think it's going to be approximately 4 foot, 5 foot taller at that elevation than the current bridge. So that's finding the facts. Is anyone here in the courtroom here to contest or questions on this? Yes. Yeah, and the reason for the finding of facts is by statute required that we had to have it appraised as long as it's under the $40,000 mark, which, like I said, it's $1,000 for $1,500 value. So we had to have the appraisal done, had to have a survey done to determine all that, and we're just meeting the statutory requirements with the finding of facts. So, okay. And Pete, thanks. Great job on putting this all together for us and on the deeds, too. So if I don't have any anyone that wants to come before the court on this, on the hearing, go ahead and get a motion from the court to approve the finding of facts.
I make a motion to approve the finding of facts on Kiefer-Lawrenceville Road Bridge replacement pursuant to KRS 67.08 and KRS 67.0802 as read by you, the judge executive.
I second.
That motion made by Magistrate Riley and second by Magistrate Codar. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor, motion carries. Moving down to item E, which is the second part of this, I need a motion for myself, Judge Executive Chuck Dills, to execute the right-of-way deed of the Kiefer-Lawrenceville Road Bridge. And just up to date on it, I spoke to the Collinses. They're going to stop by tomorrow evening to sign the deed, and then also will sign the deed over to them for that portion of the traded property. And then I'll go ahead and get the deeds filed, and they'll be ready to start on the bridge mid next week. So I'm hoping by Wednesday they'll start getting this bridge built before bad weather. So I need a motion allowing me to sign the deed to them and transferring the deeds, both of the deeds.
I make a motion for Judge Executive Chuck Dills to execute the right-of-way deed on the Kiefer-Lawrenceville Road Bridge.
I'll second.
Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, a motion made by Magistrate Codar, second by Magistrate Humphrey. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor, motion carries. Moving down to item 7, we don't have any old business to report on. Under new business, we have the Ion Center here with us, and I want to declare the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And the proclamation reads as Domestic Violence Awareness Month Proclamation 2025. Whereas, while Zero V, the State Domestic Violence Coalition, and its network of member programs providing services more to 14,000 survivors of domestic violence in fiscal year 25, including more than 1,400 children, Kentucky's smallest survivors, there are still many who suffer abuse and isolation. Whereas, women are most often and most severely impacted by an intimate partner violence, but anyone can experience or be affected by intimate partner violence. Whereas all people who experience or are affected by intimate partner violence are worthy of compassion, care, and support regardless of who they are, where they come from, their history, their social status, their economic conditions, or where they are in Kentucky. Whereas intimate partner violence is motivated by the desire for power and control and is perpetrated by a range of abusive behaviors with the intention of making it difficult or impossible for a survivor to flee an abusive relationship and still meet with their basic needs. Whereas Kentucky's most continuing building on the progress it has made towards supporting survivors over the last 50 years by encouraging all Kentuckians to consider how their actions and behaviors can be helped create safer world for survivors and their children. Whereas by standing together as Kentucky United Against Violence, we can end intimate partner violence so that all Kentuckians can live and thrive in a safety and peace. Now, therefore, I, Chuck Dills, Grant County Judge Executive of Grant County, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim October 25th as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you all, and I want to thank the Ion Center for everything you all do statewide, and especially for Grant County, for anyone in need, not just women, and you're all there for everyone. So, and anyone that knows, it used to be called the Women's Crisis Center. They rebranded because it could be the man or the woman, children, so on, or abused. So thank you for everything you do. Now, did we send you a copy of the signed proclamation? Okay, I'll sign that and get that to you. Okay. Moving down to item B under new business, I want to introduce our board member to the Kent County Airport Board over the CVG Airport is Mike Drysdale. And Mike has been on our board for several years. And Mike is a great board member. I've seen him in action, does a great job. And, you know, his background, if no one knows this, Mike's has a pilot's license. He's owned Drysdale Trucking, who handles logistics of transporting cargo across the country. And that's an important factor because as most of you know, CVG, as we grew up, started as a small airport. It's an international airport, and it is now a large hub for cargo. Not only is it a large hub for passenger flights, but also cargo. So I just want to introduce a little bit about our board member. And Mike, if you don't mind, if you want to introduce our guest.
I serve on the Greater Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport Board, and I represent Grant County. Until 2015, only Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties were representing. Grant County did not have a representative. I was appointed in 2015, where I've served for the past 10 years. In 2023, the then current CEO, Candace McGraw, informed the board she would be retiring in June of 25. The board then hired Korn Ferry, a search firm that recruits high-level executives to find the next airport CEO. After interviewing several potential candidates, Larry was selected by the board to be our new CEO. Larry was named the CEO of Cincinnati International Airport effective March of 2025 after serving as CEO of Spokane, Washington International Airports for 14 years. He is a 36-year veteran of the aviation industry. As CEO of CVG, Larry leads a team of 450-plus staff and oversees an annual operating budget that exceeds $160 billion, which collectively supports the airport's $9.3 billion annual economic impact to the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky region. Larry's a member of the board of Airports Council International North America and served as chairman of the American Association of Airport Executives during 21 and 22. He's a graduate of Ohio State University as a single-engine land pilot and a single-engine seaplane rated pilot. After working with Larry for the past 7 months, I can tell you we definitely made the right choice. He has the experience and the vision to continue the success of CVG, as you'll see in his presentation. So I'm proud to introduce Larry Crowder as our new CEO.
Well, Mike, thank you, and thank you for serving on our board and representing Grant County. And Larry, thank you. And I had the opportunity a month or so ago to meet with Larry. Larry came down to my office and had a great working relationship with Candace McGraw, who's done a great job. And everything I've heard about you, you're going to do a great job.
Thank you, Judge. I deeply appreciate that. And good evening, members of the court. And Magistrate Humphrey, I know you're joining online this evening. It's truly my privilege to be here tonight, and it's my privilege to serve as your airport CEO. As we go through the presentation tonight, if it pleases the members of the court, please just ask questions as we go through. Be happy to answer those. And Jenna, also thank you for your help tonight in putting the presentation up for everyone to see. So we're ready for our first slide. I just want to point out, and the court knows this already, but it bears repeating, that you have a truly outstanding public servant serving as your representative on the airport board. Mike Drysdale, Judge, you mentioned Mr. Drysdale's business background, his aviation background, but also I think it's true to say, and he proves it day in and day out, that he is dedicated to our community and is truly a public servant who really models the kind of behavior that everyone should aspire to in their public service. And so I feel very privileged to have the opportunity to work with such a gentleman, but also with such a very highly qualified appointee representing Grant County on our board. So, Mr. Drysdale, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to work with you. It's a pleasure to have him as flying my wing tonight here at the court. Next slide, please, Jenna. Just some highlights for you around current numbers. Number that we really like to talk about is CVG's economic impact. We recently updated that economic impact, over $10.5 billion a year, and obviously we want to make sure that we continue to grow that economic impact and continue to grow jobs throughout our region. We had 9.2 million total passengers through the airport in 2024. That's a new record, and it also represents a really big turning point where we finally exceeded the 2019 passenger traffic levels that we had before the pandemic. So we have moved beyond the pandemic numbers and setting new records. Over 55 nonstop destinations currently served by our airline partners, and I'll have an additional slide on that as we go through. Seventh largest cargo airport in North America, and the only airport really to have the distinction of being a dual hub for cargo carriers, in this case DHL and Amazon. And I think the one that we're most excited about is that we have 16,000 badge holders on our campus. And the exciting part about that is every one of those badges is attached to a good job. And obviously we want to continue to grow those really good jobs in our region. We get up every day focused on how can we continue to work with our private sector partners to grow those jobs in our communities. Next slide, please, Jenna. So again, just returning to some of the facts, 7,000 acres. And, you know, this really is something that I think the court should be very proud of, is that the stewardship, long range and long term, of the airport to set aside the kind of land that we have is truly remarkable, and it's a credit to those who came before us to set aside that property and to give us opportunities to grow successfully into the future. There are many airports across the country that are very envious of our property holdings and wish they had the kind of property holdings that we had. And so it's just a very important thing to remember. 4 runways, and as our board member Mike Drysdale will attest to as an aviator, those runways are priceless in the sense that they provide us capacity to basically grow the airport over time. And so having those runways really is what makes it key to our global competitiveness, and not just competitiveness in the country, but actually global competitiveness. And so we are very blessed to have the kind of infrastructure, airfield infrastructure, that we have. We also have a very wonderful diversity on our landed weight, with 65% of that landed weight coming from the cargo carriers and 35% for the passenger carriers. That is a really good position for us financially. If the airport was purely a passenger service airport and the landing fees were just all attributable to passenger carriers, our landing fees would be much higher than they are today. The fact that we have the cargo carriers in at the volumes that they operate at really helps us to lower that landing fee. So it's a very positive thing to have that mix of cargo and passenger freight landed weight. As our board member, Mr. Drysdale, mentioned, over $150 million annual operating budget, over $1.2 billion capital program. That will continue to increase as we continue to work through our Elevate Terminal Modernization Program, and I'll have a slide on that for the court here coming up as well. Next slide, please, Jenna. This is just an indication of our route map. We call it the spider map. You can kind of see where all the tentacles go here in terms of our connectivity. But obviously, for a community our size, we really enjoy a great deal of connectivity across the United States, but also internationally. You can see, obviously, the London and Paris destinations, as well as sun destinations in the Caribbean. And obviously, we're looking to grow that service as much as we possibly can. And talking about the diversity of the airlines that we partner with, you can see on this slide all the different airlines that we have serving. And just like an investment portfolio, diversification is a really good thing. And so having this diversification of air service is a very positive thing for our community. We are constantly spending time and effort to stay in front of our airline partners. We go to different events all over the world. Our staff was recently in Hong Kong making presentations to international airlines, both in passenger and cargo. And we also have another event called Jumpstart. And Jumpstart is really interesting. It started about 20 years ago with the Airports Council International bringing together into one place, and it moves around the country. We call it airline speed dating. And what happens is that the airport signs up for the airlines they would like to meet with, the airlines sign up for the airports they would like to meet with, and then the conference folks put us all together over about 2 or 3 days. We have a series of really short meetings, about 20 minutes or so each, and then what we hope that leads to is further engagement, invitations to come back to the headquarters and continue to make our pitch to those airlines to either protect existing air service that we have or to talk about how they could be profitable in finding another opportunity to serve. We've had a number of air service wins in the last several months. Probably the most recent one that you may have read about is the new nonstop that will start in summer of 2026 to Austin, Texas on Southwest Airlines. Just one example of many that we're working on. We're continuing to work with British Airways to increase the gauge of the aircraft, so that means the aircraft size, basically, to upgauge that aircraft so we have more seats and also more frequency to London Heathrow. very, very important as it relates to our aerospace and our logistics businesses. Next slide, please, Jenna. This just gives you an idea of the rough breakdown of our market share by carrier. And as you can see, Delta Airlines continues to dominate with about 36% of market share. And then you can see American Airlines, Frontier, Allegiant, United, and then other Southwest and other carriers. The share of the pie chart will by Southwest will increase because they're also adding additional frequencies to Chicago and to Nashville in 2026. So they will have a pretty significant growth in the number of seats in our market in 2026. So we're really excited about that growth as well. Next slide, please. Here's our spider map for cargo destinations, and you can see that our cargo network is very strong as well across the United States, reaching just about every section of the United States, and those aircraft flying in and flying out of our hub. And obviously there are different types of businesses, DHL hubs at night, overnight, Amazon hubs basically in the afternoon. Amazon has had a pretty significant increase in volume, and they will actually be adding a second hub activity during the early afternoon. Late afternoon. So we have early afternoon and late afternoon hubbing activity from Amazon. Both DHL and Amazon are making really firm commitments to two types of aircraft. DHL is making a firm commitment to fly the Boeing 777 wide-body aircraft, and they will ultimately become the largest single operator of that aircraft type in the world. And Amazon is committing to the Airbus A330 wide-body aircraft. They're committing to over 20 of those aircraft. The good news is those are wide-body aircraft, lots of volume to bring in, so that means that that business will continue to grow with the addition of those aircraft into their fleets. Next slide, please. This is just a slide to demonstrate some of our global cargo destinations beyond the continental United States. You can see we have service all the way across the globe to Tokyo, Seoul, Nagoya, into a lot of European locations, as you can see here, Brussels, Leipzig, Frankfurt, Milan, East Midlands in the UK, and then service down into Mexico and the Caribbean. You can see certain areas of the map that are not touched yet by the spider map, and we're having a lot of conversations right now about opportunities with DHL to grow South America business. And right now they're hubbed mostly in Miami for that business, but there may be opportunities for us to develop that business further in the years ahead. Next slide, please. This is just a slide to demonstrate back to my comments about how blessed we are to have the property holdings that we have and how we put them to good use to generate revenue to operate the airport and to reinvest in airport infrastructure. And I'm not going to go through all of these with the court, but just to demonstrate, we have a number of areas around the airport that are either in development or are potential opportunities for future development. And I'll just call your attention to the Northwest Quadrant for a moment. I think the Northwest Quadrant is where you will see us spending a lot of time over about the next 12 to 18 months engaged in intensive planning efforts, because that property was under an option with Amazon, and that option will be expiring in the spring of 26. So we have the opportunity to master plan that property, and that is where we would end up bringing in any kind of new entrants and new businesses that want to build aviation-related facilities in that area. As you can see, it's well served. It's surrounded by 2 runways and corresponding taxiway system. It's close to ground access, utilities, so it's a very good opportunity for us. And we've been spending time with the board looking at that in terms of our overall growth strategy. So that's just one area that I think the court may see us working in over the next few years. Next slide, please, Jenna. If you drive around the vicinity of CVG, you can't help but see the very large, what people call erector set looking type of development right now. But that is the structural steel that you see for the new DHL hangar currently under construction. They expect to open probably in the first quarter of 2026. And that hangar and corresponding support facilities, the hangar itself is designed to hold 2 Boeing 777 wide-body aircraft inside the hangar at once. And then there is a significant increase in aircraft parking apron and taxi lanes around the hangar so that DHL can actually park more aircraft as they continue to grow. So nearly a $300 million investment, obviously creating a lot of great temporary construction jobs in this process, and then the corresponding spending that goes along through, the ripple effect through our regional economy. Very, very good for our regional economy. Next slide, please. The Amazon hub, you all know, and as you see, as you may come and go from the south part of the airport, doing very well. Amazon doesn't particularly like to specify the exact number of employees, so that's why my slide says thousands of employees. It fluctuates. There is a seasonality to it, absolutely. But they continue to add employment and continue to make investments. They're really right now engaged in some really interesting reconfigurations of their hub. I was able to take a tour not too long ago to see some of their new technology in place, and it is truly remarkable, and just increasing their capacity to process packages is, again, just an amazing amount of investment going on at Amazon. They are also interested in unmanned aerial systems and using UAS. We're also involved in working with them on how they might use UAS on their campus. And I'd like to say more, but stay tuned for that in the future. Next slide, please. Building out the aviation ecosystem at CVG is very important, and Board Member Drysdale mentioned that, is that we really are a campus. And within that campus, we're trying to attract businesses that will continue to be able to build off of our core tenets. FEAM Aerospace is a great example. FEAM really exists to service the cargo carriers and the passenger carriers. And they have built 2 hangars on the airport, and they employ a number of our citizens in aerospace maintenance positions, airframe and power plant mechanics, technicians, and support, and they travel all over the world from CVG. And FEAM is hiring students right out of EPIC Academy, which is right across the street from CVG Center. EPIC's training A&P mechanics, and they literally have job commitments before they graduate at FEAM and other employers in the area. So it's a really positive environment. And then they graduate from FEAM onto other jobs in the industry, and that pipeline just continues to get fed in that closed circle. So we're very excited to have FEAM and their 2 maintenance hangars on the campus. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, Epic Flight Academy, they opened last year and are maxing out in their enrollment. And they'll be graduating classes here very shortly. And again, the students are coming to us from a variety of locations around our region, able to get educated here and have their jobs here. And that's one of the really big issues for us, is keeping our young people here and providing jobs that they can have a really good quality of life, maintaining that quality of life here in our region. Next slide, please. Another partner that joined our campus recently is L2 Aviation. You see here the ribbon cutting ceremony. And L2 is a global provider of avionics and aircraft modification and support services. And they are very aggressive in terms of building a global business and bringing those aircraft in to their hangar here at CVG, basically doing change outs on avionics, which are a lot of the electronic systems that you find in the cockpit. Next slide, please, Jenna. A few projects on the horizon to talk about. Next slide, please. Building on the synergies that we've been able to create with DHL and with Amazon, we also have another opportunity to work in air cargo that is not a small package in nature necessarily and not as time sensitive as some of the packages that are shipped by DHL and Amazon. So recognizing that we have an opportunity to work with freight forwarders who are individuals and companies looking to basically figure out the most efficient means to transport some type of cargo, we have built an 80,000 square foot facility with a private partnership that is related to the investors at FEAM Aerospace and at Bascon. Bascon being a local pre-engineered building contractor. They teamed up to build this facility. And the idea is we can bring freight forwarders into this area called the Global Logistics Park and continue to build on this new segment of the market that we haven't really been able to get a lot of traction with because we haven't had the facilities that we need to do that. So what you'll hear in all of this is this drumbeat and theme of creating infrastructure and then bringing in our private sector partners to continue to add value and create jobs. Next slide, please. This is just an ideal of what we think the Global Logistics Park will look like at build-out. You see a number of different facilities, but on the lower left, diagonal, you see that first facility that I mentioned, the 80,000 square foot building. But I wanted to just demonstrate to you that we're planning for very long-range developments over time. The board has been very supportive of our master planning process, and we want to do a project now that basically takes this design out to about 30% so that we can then assess what are the infrastructure needs that we're going to have to put in place. We've been able to receive a grant from the Commonwealth of Kentucky for $20 million, some of which we're using to do the planning and also update the infrastructure associated with serving this build-out of the Global Logistics Park. Next slide, please, Jenna. This is the F&F cargo facility that I mentioned. This was the ribbon cutting that we held just a couple weeks ago. We had great weather and great turnout for that, and you can get a sense of where the building's located and what it looks like. The view that you see here is from the land side or the truck dock side. And so this is, simple cross-dock building, except instead of going truck to truck, we're going aircraft to truck and back and forth. So that's what the idea is behind being able to move cargo from the freight forwarders. Next slide, please. And looking to the future, we're continuing to plan. This is called Hangar Row. This would be in the southwest quadrant of the airport, where we can continue to build support facilities that will serve Amazon, DHL, the passenger carriers, and other carriers. So we're just looking to make sure that we're doing the planning and putting the infrastructure in place to be able to grow at the speed of the private sector. And that's really important because the private sector wants to move fast, and we need to be in a position to offer infrastructure to be able to respond to that speed that they need to move at. And so we pride ourselves on being ready to go with this type of infrastructure. So we're involved in about a $4 million planning effort that the board approved earlier this year to make sure that we know how we're going to access this from roadways, how we're going to serve it from utilities, what the airfield access and layouts look like, and what the potential hangar layouts look like, as well as all the stormwater management facilities and everything that goes into development. So we're making good progress on Hangar Row. Next slide, please, Jenna. Turning to the passenger terminal, we are engaged in a terminal modernization program that we refer to as Elevate CVG. And I've put on this slide just some of the high-level primary components of the project, which basically includes changing out all the finishes in the main terminal, the A and B restroom improvements and renovations, modernization, HVAC, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, everything behind the walls. We're looking at the entire building envelope to basically, get this facility ready to serve us for the next 30, 40 years and beyond. And A big part of that project that we're involved in right now is sort of the first phase is the baggage handling system. So many of you remember that we used to be a Delta hub, and Delta had, at that time, a state-of-the-art automated baggage handling system. However, that was built for connecting flights primarily. And so as we transitioned from the Delta hub to an origin and destination airport, that baggage system really wasn't configured in a way that was helpful to us. On top of that, the baggage system was starting to age out. And so we have this legacy bag system, not really configured, for the kind of airport we've become. And so now we're in the process of changing out that baggage system. We've sold about $220 million worth of bonds to support that project, as well as a few of the other enabling projects. The board recently approved a demolition contract with our work demo, and they are going through, and basically what they're doing is they're staying ahead of the baggage handling installation, going through that process of demolishing the old system and clearing it out as we come through and install the new baggage handling system. So it's an amazing amount of coordination that has to get done, as you can imagine, because we have to keep the old system operating while we install the new system. So very complex challenge, but we are up for that challenge. And I put 2 slides in here just to give you a sense of what we're working on in terms of the architecture. And we've been working very closely with the board, and we've also had some sessions to bring people in from outside to give us some input on the sense of place, because we're trying to create a better sense of place when we get done here, to be able to tell the story of Northern Kentucky and the rest of our region to people who are visiting or people coming in maybe for the first time. First and last impressions are very important at airports because we may be dealing with somebody who has flown in from outside the country that's thinking about moving their business here, moving their family here. So we want to make sure that the impressions that they have are very positive and reinforcing all the great things of our region. And so the board has been working very carefully. There's kind of three primary themes: rivers and flow, neighborhood parks, and future leaning. So those are kind of the 3 broad themes that we're trying to weave together into our interior finishes. And so I think as time goes on, I'd love to come back, if the court would have me, to update you on our progress there, because I think you'll really enjoy what you see. So more to come there. These are just concepts. These haven't been finalized, but these are just basically thought pieces that we've been sharing with the board, getting input along the way. And so if I'm able to come back, I'd love to share how we evolve that design with you on the go forward. Next slide, please. If you happen to be coming in and out of CVG, you will notice that we are engaged in a number of what we'll call these types of enabling projects. So the slide on your left shows the demolition of the long escalator from the ticketing level all the way down to the tunnel. And then just some of the temporary walls that you'll see up where we're just emphasizing Elevate CVG. The really neat thing, and I don't think I have a slide of it tonight, is that if you see what we've done with a lot of the decals is we've put it like airline window seats. And inside the window seats we'll have our employees. And our employees are really having fun with this and engaging with this. So their pictures are up there, and they have a really great sense of ownership over the program, which is really, really terrific. And we're really enjoying it together, even though it's challenging. Next slide, please. And these are just 2 slides to show you construction progress photos of the baggage handling system. You can see we're doing some work at the apron level near some of the loading bridges out at Concourse B, and then deep in the basement underground, working in the Concourse B basement to install new sections of the baggage handling system. Our staff recently traveled to San Francisco to take a look at an earlier version of the baggage handling system that we have specified that has been installed for a few years at San Francisco, and we came away very encouraged because we're going to have version 2.0 of this, which is even better, and it'll be a tray system instead of a belt system. And so it will be able to accept very large types of luggage, almost any kind of luggage other than maybe skis, but we're actually trying to size it so it will actually take golf bags as well.
Rifles?
I think so. And to be fair, archery as well. How's that? But I think I think it'll be really really great because we can program these trays. We have workarounds, so if there are issues, the trays can be literally sent to different parts of the baggage handling system. We'll have state-of-the-art explosive detection systems and equipment installed as part of this as well on the security side. So I'm very encouraged with what we're going to have. It's going to be a long 4 years for us to get all of this put in because, again, keeping the existing system operating while we put the new system in, we have to be very thoughtful about the phasing. But that will be a common theme, and when I come back to update the court, I'll be glad to show you some additional progress photos as well. And I'd like to go to the next slide, please, Jenna. And this is just some thought, a thought piece that we're working right now with the board. One of the really big issues that we have to tackle in terms of our competitive advantage and our comparative advantage is having a new FIS, or Federal Inspection Service Facility, or Customs Clearance Facility. Right now, we have a legacy customs facility out at the B gates that was once again created for connecting traffic, not for people who are originating and terminating in our community. And so while it's been helpful and we've been able to work on international air service with the existing facility, we really have to have a new facility. So the question becomes, where do you put that new facility? And at origin and destination airports, you want that facility to be closer to your main terminal because people are, again, coming and going through that interface with the surface transportation system and connecting into the gates. So one of the things we're working with the board, and I will tell you that our board member, Mr. Drysdale, has been front and center on this and extremely helpful to helping us shape this approach, is to looking at actually extending the existing screening checkpoint and vertically stacking it and connecting from the main terminal all the way over to Concourse A. So think about right now your experience as a passenger is you come through the checkpoint, it's a little constricted, kind of tight, and then we sort of drop you down into the tunnel. And in the future, with this type of a facility in place, you would flow through that checkpoint at the same elevation and then be able to actually walk over to the A concourse. And then from there, take conveyance out to B and back. So in that vertical stack, in that connector, it gives us the opportunity to put this new customs facility and to look at building some international or swing gates that you see here off to the side. So that would slide over by the new rental car garage. So again, bringing it much closer to the land side of the airport. So that's what we're working on next. And so stay tuned, and as I mentioned, I'll be glad to come back and brief the court on our progress there. Next slide, please, Jenna. Just some quick concession updates. Next slide, please. Some newly added concessions. Dunkin' Donuts is open in both concourses now. The Bengals Bar, which has been very popular, is now open. And we also have a Jimmy John's that will open in 2026, as well as a new Italian restaurant and a renovated escape lounge. So we're very busy right now in renovations and reconfiguring our concessions. Next slide, please, Jenna. Workforce development. Very, very important. Next slide, please. As we mentioned, we're really wanting to make sure we're doing everything we can to work with private sector partners to create good jobs for our community. And I thought I would just do a high-level summary of where our jobs are coming from. 52% Kentucky residents, 38% Ohio, and 10% Indiana and other states. So again, very strong employment for our region, and that is something we want to continue to do. We estimate that we support, along with our partners on the campus, 56,000 total jobs in 2024. We actually, next slide please, Jenna. We actually had just been recognized as the first airport to gain full accreditation by the Airports Council International for workforce development. So our team is working very hard on that. We had an FAA grant that allowed us to hire 2 people onto our team that do nothing but workforce development. They've given this year 100 tours for high school teachers, middle school teachers, students, to connect with them and educate them about job opportunities in the aviation sector. And it's not just pilots or air traffic controllers, it's electricians, it's plumbers, it's carpenters. It's everything that you can think of. We need those types of skills on our campus. And so we're connecting them with all the different types of jobs in the aviation sector. We have a consolidated jobs portal that you see on this slide as well that we're very proud of. And we're just going to continue to work really hard to connect our students and our teachers to these types of opportunities and hopefully be able to continue to grow jobs so they can stay right here and have a great quality of life. Next slide, please. We made it. That concludes my formal presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that the court may have.
Now, I want to thank you, Larry, for coming. It was an honor to have you here, and also our board member, Mike Drysdale. And thank your staff for the updates I get monthly on the talking points of what's going on at
Yes,
the
sir.
airport. That's really interesting. I forwarded out to the magistrates to look at, too. But it's interesting and fascinating how much is going on at the airport. It's a campus, but it's actually a city.
Yeah, so everything is
It's
city.
like a small city, absolutely correct. But it's truly a privilege to serve with such great people that I work with every single day. We have such a great team, and that includes our board. And so I just want to say again in closing, thank you so much for appointing an absolutely outstanding airport board member that I get to work with every day, who I thoroughly enjoy working with and who I learn a lot from in the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Yep.
Welcome back anytime. Have a question for someone in the audience?
A question. All the traffic that flies in and goes out and whatever, what is the airport talking, how are they talking with the county and state officials about truck traffic and just road traffic to and from the airport? I used to live over by Kentucky 18 and Lionsburg Road. You couldn't see the airport from there back in the 80s and 90s. Now you drive there and you see the tower. I mean, and the truck traffic now going, I think, from Amazon and DHL, I don't know, but 18 is a real mess, you know, at certain times of the day. So is any thought given to what's going to happen with all that traffic?
It's a great question and an important one, because we can't continue to grow the airport successfully on the airfield side, all the things I talked about, if we're not expanding on the surface transportation side. And so we are in discussions with OKI, our metropolitan planning organization. There are a number of projects that we're working with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet on, improvements in the immediate vicinity of the airport. You'll see Donaldson, if you've driven on Donaldson recently, under construction for capacity increases, intersection improvements, and that's just continuing to move outward. I think the big, obviously the big issue is going to be the Brent Spence Bridge, and then I think the other is going to be Buttermilk and around 275, that interchange complex. But we're also talking about, can the airport potentially take over some of the roadways in the immediate vicinity, because we may be able to actually impact improvements faster than the transportation.
May.
Did I say that diplomatically enough? But we think that might also be a really good strategy as well. Thank you for the question. So the question is, what do I think about training law enforcement around domestic violence awareness? Very, very important, as well as human trafficking. And a lot of that, unfortunately, goes hand in hand. And so we are constantly looking at ways to make sure that our officers are very well aware of those situations. And in fact, I will tell you that the first thing that I do in the morning is I open up my email and I read the reports from law enforcement, from fire, from operations, et cetera. So I'm very well aware of what the calls are and what we're getting called for. And I think our officers do a really good job of determining those things, and they are attuned to it. And I think what's even better is the airport, back to the small city concept. It's like a really interesting neighborhood watch situation, because you have employees, a number of whom have worked at the airport a long time, and they look out and they know when something's not right, and they will call our officers if they see something. If there's, let's say there's a dispute or something going on at the curbside or something like that, where they might think, hey, this could be a domestic violence situation, they'll call immediately and our officers will respond immediately and sort through those situations. Absolutely. So thank you for the question. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Drysdale. We just actually talked about that at one of our board workshops last week in terms of, how can we maximize the opportunity for someone who might be trafficked or just in trouble. They could be in a domestic violence situation, and the only time they might be able to be separated is when they're in the restrooms. So we have the signage, but I think we're going to go a step further when we do the terminal monitorization program and actually put phones in the restrooms. And that way, if we have a language barrier, we can actually, speak to in the decals the most common foreign languages that are being spoken, but also give them the ability to actually make contact. And as soon as that phone is picked up, that will result in a law enforcement response. I've done that before in Spokane. We had people come in from all over the United States, and I would get phone calls from people, and they would, because our airport colleagues, it's a very small circle, so I would get calls from my airport colleagues saying, hey, one of my board members was in Spokane, and they saw the phones in the restrooms, and they'd like us to do the same thing. So I'm really interested in enhancing the program that we already have, and I know that we have the full support of the board to do that. Absolutely. Great question.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
I can get that for you.
Absolutely. Terrific. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll email that to you, Debbie.
Thank you for being so gracious with your time this evening. It was my pleasure, and I look forward to returning with updates.
Cool. Welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
I would just say, in the 11 years her and I have served together, we have never had a CEO come and do this type of presentation to us and to the community, because people are going to watch this. So thank you for the investment of time.
My privilege.
From an awareness standpoint.
And I know with what's going on, you're not busy, Larry.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you.
You are very welcome, but I will make sure that I come back regularly to update this court on what's going on at CVG. You are important partners for us, and I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to be informed and to also be good partners. And please do not hesitate to reach out and contact me if you have any questions or if there's anything that you think that I can do to be helpful to you.
Yeah, and I would like to reiterate Mr. Drysdale's demonstration on the board. I think he's, one of the best picks for a board I think I've ever had in all the tenure that I've been on the board. And I just want you to know I'm really, really proud of you.
I can tell you I've worked for a lot of boards in my career, and Mr. Drysdale is absolutely top-notch. And I would say that even if he wasn't here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you again for being so generous with your time, and I look forward to returning in the not-too-distant future and give you an update on where we stand.
Okay.
I'll see
Thank
you
you.
soon. Thank
Sir.
you. Great presentation. Yes. Moving down to reports. On Judge's report, just a couple of things. Want to report on one, remind everyone again, 10 o'clock this Saturday at the Grant County Road Department on Hopperton Lane. We'll have a surplus auction, and I think we've got at least a dozen vehicles of ours, and the city of Williamstown has 3, plus all kinds of other items, toolboxes, things that have been surplused out and replaced out. So want everyone to come to that auction and spend their money. So also, I just want to touch base, Napoleon Zion Station Road. They're several miles into it. They're almost to Concord. Earlier today when I checked, they were almost to Concord Road from the Elliston end. So they're making some progress.
Right.
Had several calls that glad to see it done. I did have one call, I didn't, the road department did, that he wished he was informed that we were doing it. It's hard to get that information out.
Let's just be thankful it's getting done.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time in the making.
Way past due. So as soon as that road's done, I'll bring everyone up to date on which road they're starting on next. Hopefully we'll get these other couple roads done before the weather changes.
Yeah, I've put a memo out around our area about Lanner. It'll eventually, I don't know what the timing is, but they are on the slot.
Right.
So,
And it's hard to, I know that I've talked to quite a few, and I called several people in the past that's called on the road. I called to let them know they were coming, but it was like the day that Wrigler showed up. Normally we get a call a day or two ahead, but they finished the job, and I get it. They're going to start the next morning, and it was short notice, but I'd rather be short notice and they get started than
Say
wait
delay,
another week.
Yeah.
Delayed. So I'm glad they're trying to get our roads finished up that we put out for bid. That's all I had to report on. Anything from you, Roger, out of district?
Nothing.
No, I don't have anything, thank you.
Jacqueline?
Judge, I just had 2 comments. I wanted to acknowledge just the patience and the persistence of, close to 7 years ago when we first implemented the road committee. The bridge that we are working to get done is one of 5 or 6 that the school had acknowledged, and I think I just wanted to acknowledge persistence pays off in looking for pots of monies. Time has evolved, and there's different pots of monies that's enabled us to get that bridge done and a few others, and to still acknowledge that we've got other bridges that we will be repairing as money become available. But to me, it's just a reflection of staying at it. So thank you for the work that you've done.
Well,
also,
and the school's very appreciative. I've spoke with the schools, and we've been keeping them up to date that it's coming, and actually we've reached out to them, letting them know that it looks like next week they'll start, so we'll keep them informed. And they have an emergency bus route due to flooding anyway, so they said they would just go on their Plan B bus route while the bridge is being built, but they're going to be excited when it's done, because I'm hoping it'd be very rare that will get flooded with the new taller bridge and the graded bridge, because elevation-wise, I forget exactly height-wise, but it's by us trading this land with the Collinses, we're moving up elevation on top of raising the bridge anyway, in which it's a low crossing bridge anyway. So, plus it's got the culverts where the trees block it now, they'll pass under. So anyway, I'm excited to see that bridge getting finished up, or getting started to get finished.
Thank you, and thanks to the patience of those, because these bridges that we have listed have came from them because they have to take alternative routes when water rises. So it's just been about 6-ish years or so that we've had that particular one, but it's just because of monies and the timing was right. So with that pot of monies available. The only other comment I wanted to acknowledge is the continuation of attempting to make progress on various properties in my district county ordinance. And so thank you for help with that, and to those that are involved. I know citizens are looking for updates that have been acquired. So I just wanted to acknowledge that work is still happening. Hopefully additional progress will be made against those.
Okay, well, thank you, Jacqueline. And just remind with the winds, I know that Sunday I received a call that we had a tree down across Dry Ridge Mountain Zion Road. The road department was out there quickly, got the tree cut up off the road, was back Monday morning cutting the tree that was off the side of the road after they got the road cleared out. I know that with the winds and the ash trees, how they've rotted and died, that we're going to have.
I think we're going to see an increase in that. I mean, I've just seen
And
logs.
this, you know, they're trying
so
to
dry.
they're cutting the right of ways and cutting some of these down potentially that's going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
This was a pretty good sized tree that really didn't look dead,
Mm-hmm.
but it was. I mean, it broke, it snapped right in half, and the wind wasn't that bad. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, just remind everybody to be cautious when it's windy like this. That,
Call any of us. So we
you
can
know,
let
hopefully the tree will fall on the road. They'll see it, and you know that. But it's dangerous. Those trees could fall on passing vehicles so quickly. That's all really have to report on. Anything from the audience on citizens address? Yes, Debbie.
I just have a quick kind of clarification question because I got myself confused, I think.
Okay.
Debbie Angel, Wharton County News. Let's see, one of the surplus items was a van that's from the sheriff's office that's been turned over to the jail.
Yes.
Was it earlier this year that you guys used the opioid funds purchasing a van for the jail? Is this in addition to that?
Yes, this was a vehicle we were actually going to sell at surplus, and the jail is using it because one, by the they've got a lot of more contracts with other jails, and they're having to do transports to the hospital, doctor's office, besides the opiate runs.
Okay.
No, it's an SUV. It's an Explorer.
Oh, okay, it's an SUV.
Is what it is.
Okay, so it's just they've been using
Yeah.
it anyway.
Well, where they run into problems is the deputy jailer will leave the jail to the hospital with the patient and have to guard it. And then when the next shift comes out, they don't have a vehicle, so they take the vehicle up and the other deputy comes back in the vehicle.
Okay. Okay,
So,
I was just curious.
yeah, it's mainly as one for the hospital runs, things like that.
Okay, thanks.
I just want to give a shout out to the road department. I don't know if it's the counties or the state, but Dry Ridge Mount Zion Road, that hairpin turn at Dill's Farm,
That's counties.
they took those trees out, and what a difference it makes in that hairpin turn where you can actually see somebody coming before they're on top of it.
You're about the 10th one that's told me that.
Well, I asked so many years ago to have something done. I talked to Steve Tatum about it, and it never got done. But this was
And I'll be honest with you, through the magistrates or myself, I'll give direction on things if I see it or someone calls on it. The road department was out clearing trees, and they're taking initiative, doing things proactive on it. So, yeah, they done a great job because I drove down past there and saw that what they had done after I'd received several phone calls from people that's pulling trailers where the visibility was bad or their trailers, the tops of the trailers were hitting the trees. So, but thank you, and along with the others, it's called, and because it's nice, and I pass that on to the road department too, because not everyone is sometimes appreciative of things they do, and they go out of their way to try to make things right. So, thank you, Dave. Anything else? Anyone else? If not, item 11, I need a motion to go in executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, subsection 1B, and this is on property.
I make a motion to go into a closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810(1)B.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Magistrate Riley, second by Magistrate Humphrey. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor. We're now in closed session. If you'll see 12, we have a motion to act on closed session. So when we get out of closed session, we'll be acting on what we're meeting. We shouldn't be very long.